My name is Tom Cranston. My blog post showed you how to train Claude and set up Cursor for AI development with Adobe's Edge Delivery Services, a tool that was previously known as Franklin or maybe Helix. I'm going to demonstrate the Cursor Claude AI at work creating blocks for Edge Delivery Services. As I begin my demonstration, I want to emphasize the importance of prompts in AI work. They're like programs, though written in English. Creating, saving, and manage them within your GitHub repository is critical. I will show you how I use a pre-written prompt to create an image cycler or a carousel. In my project, I saved my prompts within the prompts folder. I have the image cycler here, which is just a simple set of English instructions telling it how I want it to behave. I feed that into Cursor as the prompt, which then gets fed into the rules file, which tells Cursor the standard operating procedures, the mechanism for creating the deliverables to my satisfaction. And finally, the training document, which is the encyclopedia that Cursor and Claude will look up if they need more clarification on how to do something. We begin with the Cursor AI, which is summoned by Command I. I have a very, very simple box, which is the prompt to do with Cursor AI. This invites me to add files. It invites me to add commands. If I type the @ symbol, it then suggests that I can add files, folders, code, pieces from the web, get some documents, use Git, or get things from the code base. However, I wanted to use my image cycle file, so I start typing the name. It appears on the interface. I press Tab. Now imagecycle.md is the prompt. By pressing return, I'm instructing Cursor to read that file and execute it. You can witness the AI effortlessly executing the commands. Witness it creating JavaScript, CSS, the example file, the demo, and README files. It's captivating to see these changes happening directly in my GitHub repository. This process is remarkably more efficient than copying and pasting code snippets from the web-based Claude interface. At the end, it gives me a chance to reject everything, accept everything, or do it again to give it a second chance at creating its work. So I'll just press the blue accept all button. At this point, everything is now written to my repository on the local folder. So I need to go into GitHub source control and push this to the repo. So I'm going to tell it that I've added image cycle blocks and then commit that to my GitHub. So having done all of that work, we can now look at the artifacts that Claude has generated. We have the image cycle.javascript. We have example.md, an example markdown that you can copy, paste, and pour it into a Google Doc from Markdown, and it will give you a starter to create your own version of the image cycle. There's a demo.md, which is a fully featured page written with metadata, with text, with the image cycle demo, and a description of how it works. I'm going to copy this markdown and get it ready for the next step. I also have a README. The README tells developers and content authors what the block is all about. So there is authoring, styling, behavior, accessibility, and finally, I've asked it to give me suggestions for improvement. So if my prompt wasn't sufficient enough and there are other things that you can do, Claude and Cursor will tell me that perhaps I ought to add these to the block. And finally, the image cycle.css. So we shall shut these down. Close all. I will go to bear with me, I'm stopping the viewing of Cursor, and I'm going to bring up Microsoft Edge. In Edge, I will go to my demo and go to the blank document, Google Docs. I have here a Franklin document which is ready to go. You can see the sidekick that tells me what's happening. And if I right click, paste from Markdown. You remember that demo Markdown that I had earlier inside the deliverables from Claude? Well, this has been copied and turned into a page. This page inside the Edge Delivery Services sphere of interaction has headings, it has a block, it has descriptions, it's got text generated by Claude, and it's got the metadata table that you put at the end of Franklin page to explain the title, the description, what kind of thing I've written, an image that says what the page is all about, the author, and a long description which I use in creating JSON LD. So now, if I press preview, you will be able to see the page in action. What this has done has built exactly what I asked for. We have a set of images chosen at random, and every 5 seconds, another image gets shuffled into the picture. I have said that if I position the cursor over the image, it should stop. If I take the cursor out, it should resume and immediately go to the next image. I can also control the images from the keyboard. So this is exactly what I said. And Claude has given us a description, it's given us some use cases, and it's told us what the features are. Randomized image order, automatic rotation, pause on hover, keyboard navigation, responsive design, and visual indicators for the current image position. Perfect. That's exactly what I asked for. So that's very good. And you can see what's happening there, but you can do so much more. I mean, this is a game changer in productivity and efficiency, but there is so much more that you can do. I will bring up the internal web browser inside Visual Studio, and I have got the image cycle demo working inside the internal browser. So now I would like to tell Claude Cursor, Command I, and I get my back on here, Command I. I've got my box. I couldn't see where it was because this was all in the way. So I've got my Command I. I'm going to say I want to add navigation arrows to the block, to the image cycle block. Acting like the keyboard. Claude Cursor goes away and says, certainly, I'll add navigation arrows to the image cycle block. It will function similarly to the keyboard controls. Here's how we can modify it. So it upgrades the CSS, the JavaScript, the README, so that the whole thing is completely up to date. And once I accept this, it's all written it back into the repo. And here you can see that we now have the arrows. They will have a semi-transparent background that darkens and hover for better visibility. Unfortunately, they are actually overlapping on the picture, which means that the picture stops scrolling. But hey, we just need to say, I do not want them to overlap the image. Place them under the image. Although my typing isn't wonderful, Claude will still understand it. I'll modify the code to place the navigation arrows under the image. I'll need to scroll this up so we can see what's going to happen. It's updated the README, it's changed the CSS. Claude has made these changes. It's added left and right navigation arrows below the image carousels. The arrows function the same way as a keyboard control, allowing users to navigate through images manually. The arrows are styled to be visually consistent with the rest of the component and are fully accessible. So you can see here that we now have arrow controls, we have keyboard controls, we have the mouse control. Finally, I will ask Claude to change the background from light blue. Change the background to light red. So it's going to update the CSS. And if I say accept all, you can see we've now got a light red or a pinky effect. And I'll say review the CSS file, single file. So Claude has read through my CSS and thought about the changes that I've made and has come up with a number of changes. These introduce CSS variables for easier customization, added focus styles for accessibility, prepared for smooth image transitions, and include an additional media query for very small screens. I'm happy with that. So Claude has really improved on the original ask, which I think is absolutely amazing. So that's the end of my demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it. You can, of course, get Cursor and Claude to create multiple blocks. You can get Cursor and Claude to create applications. Cursor and Claude together with properly trained files becomes an amazing tool set. So in closing, I'd just like to say a few words. I'm going to get rid of the cursor screen and bring up a few slides that I think are worth talking about. Coding is gone. Developing has not. While AI will change software creation, the essence of development still remains the same. The roles of developers will move a little bit, and our expertise will be more vital than ever. Tomorrow's developers will architect solutions by listening to users, generating requirements and plan. We do that today. We will design frameworks and rules for AI. We don't do that today. We'll need to do that tomorrow. We will craft precise prompts. We will review AI-generated code. We will conduct thorough testing of the AI code, and we will iterate until we're happy with the presentation. We will document, we will present, we will release, and we will maintain. This technical acumen with strategic thinking ensures that AI becomes a powerful tool in the developer's arsenal rather than a threat. So the modern developer workflow is plan, prompt, consult, verify, synchronize, document, test, and iterate. So we have a new way of working with the English language and working with an AI. It is important to note that if you give a simple prompt, you'll get a simple result. If I said make a carousel block for EDS, I'd get something out, but I haven't told the AI what I want. Haven't told it how to deal with errors, how to create the example tables, how to create documentation. I haven't told it anything. You'll get a carousel, but it will need a lot of work. And in my opinion, if you don't tell it that you're working with Edge Delivery Services with a training file, it'll give you a React app for a Joe Public, anybody's website. When you create your prompts, you must add detail to the prompt. Don't just say, make a carousel. In my case, this is create a Franklin block with images named image cycle. The first cell in a table is a table name, etc., etc. We're giving it the detail that it needs to be able to create the block to your requirements. Just saying create the block isn't good enough. Some guidance when you're creating prompts. Cover all the essential aspects: initialization, user interface, text display, scrolling mechanisms, control mechanisms, and termination logic. Use sections to make it easier for the AI to understand and implement each task. I use Markdown when I'm writing my main prompts. To ensure a robust and user-friendly implementation, it's crucial to consider performance, accessibility, error handling, and responsiveness. You should also ask the AI to provide documentation and examples. As you iterate over the design, the AI will keep these things up to date and in line with the work that you've given it. Please put all your prompts in Git. Cursor AI, or anybody's AI coding, is a powerful auto-completion tool that can boost your development productivity. You've got to review its outputs. It can save you significant time and energy in the long run. Structure your prompts. Define the objective, provide context, detail the functional requirements, specify the technical aspects, include additional features, address error handling, request an example, review, and refine. If we go back to my IDE, I shall shut down my web browser and close all of those files. Now, if I return to my prompts folder, I no longer need to show the image cycle. Come down to prompts, and I will show you a prompt with a lot more detail. As I said, you should give as much information as you can as you create your prompt. And in this case, this is a complex prompt which creates an import of a design from an external web page. I may show this in a future demonstration. It's not just creating one block, it's creating half a dozen blocks at once using styling from any external website. I actually tell it which website I want to get the styling from in the prompt. This, I believe, is a wonderful tool for reviewing and revising designs. So the prompt is quite detailed, and it tells Claude Cursor exactly what I want to see. So, as I said, keep it in GitHub, review it, write it, compare the sections, make it in Markdown, and you will have a really good prompting system. So finally, I thank you for watching this demonstration. I was a global architect. I am now a boutique consultant. I started 12 years ago at EE as a solution architect on AEM. My last full-time role was as global architecture director at Digitas. I spearheaded the AEM architecture for Nissan Renault Alliance's Helios project, the world's largest AEM initiative. My time was marked by managing 15 teams and 500 staff, making a significant impact on the project's success. I retired at 60 for 2 weeks. I founded a consultancy due to passion for tech and AEM. My first client was an agency working with Twitter, now X. I built and mentored their AEM team. When we finished, Twitter said we were the best team Twitter ever worked with. I continued my success with Hyundai, Ford, and Jaguar Land Rover. I have a blog. Please follow me. That's the end of my demo. Thank you.